What's up, guys? This is Tucker from MACkite Boarding, throwing it back to another Slingshot overview. It's been a really long time since I've really gone through one of these. You might remember way back in the day with the hover glide system, going through all the wings and different options back when they launched that years ago. Well, here we are again with the new One Lock system. And I dare to say Slingshot has really come to the table with something unique, solving some problems for riders yet again, and really offering a complete comprehensive range where in the past they've kind of separated their aluminum hover glide from their Phantasm carbon set, or even before that they had the other carbon options they are testing out. So real cool to see them move to a single ecosystem, something that solves some problems, some unique designs and ideas. And today we'll walk you through that, what some of the options are, how this all works together, what's included, all the basic details. And if you're really into this, stick around. We're going to have more reviews in the near future here for more individual models, complete reviews of the ecosystem as it all rides together. So more in-depth review type knowledge. But today, this is more about what the lineup is, what is suitable for what riders, what's included, all the basic stuff. So here we are. I've grabbed just a few of the options. There's still quite a lot here, but this kind of represents a lot of the range that Slingshot's offering. See, we've got a few different kite utility and winging, surfing, downwinding kind of foils here. Tail that goes with them, some different masts here, hardware. So you can really see what this is all about. I'd say really the most exciting thing about this whole system isn't necessarily a wing design or a mast design. It's more of the interface between the mast and the wing fuselage here with the new One Lock system. So the idea behind this is a toolless system. You don't have any screws on the plane that you need to mess with. The screws on the board end in the track are toolless setup if you want to do it that way. So it allows you to go out and ride without having to carry extra stuff, make adjustments on the water, and overall just worry less about hardware. So if you're a person that hates screws for one reason or another, or doesn't like messing with hardware, or you're prone to losing things, this could be a really cool option for you. Something that Slingshot's been working on a long time, so it's really taken them a while to figure out all the dirty details here. But essentially what you have here is your front wing with a section of your fuselage attached. So this is a monocoque front wing and fuselage design, one piece molded carbon construction, and then you've got this little dongle here. So the dongle goes into the mast socket and then locks into the fuselage on the other side. You see this kind of tapered triangular shape. That allows these to nest together inside of that fuselage, and there's that range of fitment that locks it tight inside there and helps prevent some jamming like other tolerance fit connections have issues with. So that's the way it goes together. It's really smartly engineered. And I've got to say, I know this isn't a review, but it's probably the best toolless system, quick release system that I've seen. It's not to say it's not, or that it's perfect, but it does solve a lot of problems that previous systems have really struggled with. So good on Slingshot for taking their time to bring this to market, releasing something that's really innovative and well thought out, well tested. So that's the way it kind of goes together. What is all of this about? Well, first we've got the front wing here. This is the Kite 1255. This is a really popular wing for beginner kite foilers, light wind, free ride. Anybody that wants to ride around at slow to medium speed with a very surfy, shreddy kind of effect. And of course, there's plenty of other ranges, plenty of other designs in the Kite range as well. So no matter what kind of riding you're doing, they have an option for you. We just don't have the space for all of it here today. So next we've got the Ease. And this is really, the key that's bridging the gap between their high efficiency, higher aspect designs and their kite foil designs, which are smaller, tend to be lower aspect. The ease is probably going to be their best selling wing. And the reason for that is almost anybody can ride it for any discipline. So this is a great option if you're learning to foil, if you're a beginner or a budding intermediate, when you're choosing the right size. So the ease has a big size range. You'll want to choose, the correct one for whatever type of riding you're doing, but this wing is applicable to surf foiling, wake foiling, kite foiling, wing foiling, pair winging, you name it. You can probably do it on the ease. It might not always be the most high performance model, but as a general rule, this is going to be one of the easiest to ride wings in the range. And the reason for that is it's fairly medium aspect, maybe even would call it low aspect in the bigger sizes. Relatively thin, but still has some good meat in the center. So it's got good lift, but it's not an aggressive lift. It's flying very flat and mellow for a wing of this aspect ratio. And then it's just got a little bit of a kind of dihedral into an anhedral type wing shape, which is just very intuitive and easy and flowy to ride, but it's not technical or twitchy. So all that to say, the ease is a very easy wing to ride, and picking the size based on the sport, your ability, and your weight is really going to be the ticket to success. As long as you're making the right call on size, it's going to be a really versatile and fun wing for you to ride. It's also the wing that's included in most of their basic One Lock affordable aluminum sets. So depending on the application, whether it's kite, wing, wake, whatever, it's going to have some version of the ease of the kite to make learning easy. Now, what's this got on my left? It looks a little shinier, a little fancier. Well, it's got the carbon veil on it. It's a slightly lighter construction than the other two. It's also higher aspect, thinner design. So this one here in the Glide series is really the high performance kind of ride in this lineup. This is going to be the choice for most riders in winging, surf foiling, downwinding that want maximum range, glide, high performance, and for riders that have some ability to control this wing because it is a little bit more high maintenance and twitchy than the ease or the bigger kite wings would be. But it pays off in terms of performance. Again, as I said, the Glide is fantastic. The low speed range for their size is quite good. This is the 1125. I'm 200 pounds. Winging, this would be quite a large wing for me. This would be about as big as I would ride on the Glide series for prone or foil drive. So this is really quite large, even though it's only 1125 in terms of experienced riders and what they're looking for on that performance. This one is a little bit more expensive. As I mentioned, it's a higher level construction than the other two, which are aimed to be a little bit more budget friendly. And that makes sense for the beginner rider, I think, whereas the advanced rider is going to be more committed, more demanding on the stiffness of the wing. Obviously, there's less structure here, being it's smaller, thinner, higher aspect. So I think that all makes sense. We've got a number of different stabilizer and fuselage combos. Again, this is a monocoque design. This is all one molded piece here. There's no trimming the shim angle. They've done that for you. There's no changing the fuselage length. They've kind of figured out a happy medium for you, but it's real light and stiff, very efficient. As you can tell when you get to the back end of this fuselage, it is really thin, but still incredibly stiff. So they did a fantastic job with that. With the Glide series, my favorite is the turbo. This is kind of my go-to throughout the range, but that's something for more experienced riders. So they do have more accessible, easy to ride fuselage stabilizer combos for newer riders or other disciplines as well. That's what that looks like. Next, we'll go into the masts. So this is just two of the options. They actually have three constructions. So you have your aluminum, your carbon, which is not pictured here, and your high modulus carbon, which is right here. You're going to choose those based on what kind of level of durability, what kind of performance you want, and then ultimately budget. So if you have the funds to go do it and you want the maximum efficiency, the maximum stiffness, the highest performance, that's going to be your high modulus, followed by the carbon, followed by the aluminum. Although I gotta say, the aluminum is a pretty sick piece of kit. Feeling it out between the two, riding the two, you know, really there's an advantage to the high modulus if you're riding at high speeds or really looking for maximum efficiency, glide, all that. But as a newer rider or somebody on a budget, I wouldn't be too upset about riding the aluminum either, and it does have something to say as far as the stiffness it has, its efficiency for where it is, and really that price point and durability pays off year over year, especially if you're going to be buying multiple mast sizes. If you're a person that's going in different water depths or different disciplines, you need different mast sizes maybe, then the aluminum makes a lot of sense for that, or if you're just running on a limited budget as we talked about before. So that's kind of the basics of what's going on. All of these do include covers, so your front wing is going to include a cover that's custom for its size, fuselage as well, and the masts. They all come included with the hardware you need. So if you're buying a front wing, it's going to come with nothing because it doesn't use hardware. If you're buying a fuselage, it's going to come with nothing because, well, it doesn't include hardware. But it does include the dongle, which is really what you need there. And then the mast is going to include your quick connect hardware. So this looks a little different than most. It allows it to be toolless. We have our wing nut screws here and the quick connect system there that allows you to keep these in the board and connect to the mast quickly and easily. And then these nuts aren't just regular wing nuts, they're actually click nuts. So if you pull up on them, you can change the direction, so you can always keep that wing nut screw in line with the nose and tail of the board, because if it's sideways, it's making a lot of drag. So if you go forward like that, and you can easily adjust that after you've tightened them simply by lifting up and changing position on the screw head. So that's pretty cool. And additionally, if you're not a quick connect kind of sled person, you don't want to add all these extra parts, you can simply connect using the screws and the included T-nuts there. So if you want to keep it simple and just have to screw in all four of those every time, you can do that. So that's a nice option if you want to cut the weight just a little bit and you're really not too worried about saving time, you know, just quickly connecting. Sometimes if you're looking to change your mast position on the water, you know, it's easier just to have the click nuts rather than the sled and all that quick connect info, because you do actually need to use a screwdriver to reassemble, to replace that sled in the tracks. So really you want to go ride, figure out where you want your mast, and then install your quick connect system so you can really fine tune that exact spot where you want it and keep it. And then that way every single time you go, it'll be in the exact same spot, it'll feel exact same, and you'll be stoked on that. So how do you connect this thing? Let's give you a quick tutorial here. I have to hold it, so it's going to be a little bit weird, but so you're going to put the dongle into the slot here. Get it set up there. Make sure the dongle is down. Put this end in here. Give it a little wiggle, little tap. Put that up into there. And it's nice and tight. And as you can tell, that's fairly stiff there. I really haven't wrenched on this or anything yet, but you want a snug fit. Definitely want to blow this out if it's sandy or has debris in it, anything like that, because that's just going to kind of break down and grind in there. It'll wear away at this cavity. It's just going to give you kind of a wonky fit. So definitely want to try to keep this as clean as possible. But the nice thing about this system as compared to other, you know, conical or tolerance fit type systems like this, is that it has that angle, that triangular shape where each end is locking in. So it does naturally want to fall out, even if it does get jammed up in here, which can happen, especially with the fine sand we have here. I've played with it a lot, had a few jams. Easiest way to deal with that, pop your dongle here, give a couple quick little hits here, pops right out. and this one's gonna be tough on me just for sake of the video, but that triangular fit, you can see kind of wrenching it against the edge there, and that allows it to pop out of there nice and clean. Now there is a slight tolerance between different wings and fuselages and different masts. For instance, the aluminum mast fits just a little bit tighter than this carbon mast. It's just the nature of how these things are and the small differences in all of this stuff and how they fit. And the way you're gonna adjust to change for that is right here. So I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but there's a little screw inside here with a spinning nut on it. So to tighten it, you're gonna spin that nut counterclockwise. That's going to shorten this line here and tighten it up. So if you're finding you want a little tighter fit, go there, tighten it up here. Over time, this little line will stretch out and kind of break in. So you might find that after you ride this a few times, you want to tighten it a couple of turns just to keep it nice and locked in there and as stiff as it possibly can be. Because that is one thing about this system. If this dongle isn't really locked up tight in there, then this system is not going to lock in as tightly as it could have. So you're going to have a little bit of wobble, a little bit of wiggle. So to fix that, you're going to want to tighten here. Eventually, and I've seen this on the demos only so far, but these will get so stretched out and so used after, you know, being at AWSI, we probably locked these and unlocked these 5,000 times or something ridiculous. And then the riders are doing it and undoing it all the time, and they're showing people and undoing it. You know, these do take quite a long time to stretch out, but once they do stretch out a little too far where this screw will actually back out too far and not want to lock back in properly, then what you can do is there's a little Allen head here. You can unscrew that grub screw, take the loop on the end of this. Right now it's just looped over, but then you can make a lark's head loop on the end of it and attach it back to that post, screw it back in. That's going to shorten it by a few millimeters. So that'll get you by until you order a new one, but these things are so dirt cheap, way cheaper than screw sets and things that wear out in a normal screwed foil. So this is really the part that's going to be more disposable, but for most riders, we're talking about years of longevity, especially once you make that lark's head adaptation, once it's kind of nearing the end of its life. But when you start to do that, it's like, okay, let's get another one on order so we don't miss any days on the water. But these do not break. We haven't had any of them break in testing, even the ones that are really super worn and look like garbage. You know, you keep riding them and haven't had any issues with breakage. So that's a good thing. And obviously with Kite line, we know from years of experience, this stuff has great longevity and pretty low stretch, low wear scenario. So that's some of the basics about the One Lock system. We'll go into some more depth in reviews in the future here on some of these models. But to start, we just wanted to lay it all out for you, show you guys what the lineup looks like, how it fits together, and all of that. Stick with us. We're going to have another video coming soon with some quick tips. We're going to overview some of the stuff we've already kind of talked about here. But if you really want to know how to get the most out of your One Lock system, be sure to check out that video coming soon. This has been Tucker with MACkiteboarding.com, and we'll see you next time.